Okay, so in the last classes of social psychology, we have completed unit 1. A little revision, हम लोगों ने क्या क्या topics complete किया है? So introduction to social psychology, yes, so we have completed that. Then we have also discussed about the research methods. याद है आप लोगों को? Survey method, systematic observation, experiment, yes, good. So हम लोगों ने ये complete कर लिया है. Then we have also talked about the history, brief history of social psychology in general and also brief history of social psychology in India, कि India में कैसा इसका history था, ठीक है? We are done with all of these. So unit 1 is completed. So now we will be starting with unit 2 and today we will be talking about self. Okay? So self is unit 2. So what is self? आप लोग बताओ क्या है self? Yes. Self मतलब who you are as a person, right? Who we are as a person, what is our personality, हम लोग, how do we think, how do we behave, how others think of us. Yes, so all of these refer to your self. ठीक है? Please be quiet. It's a huge class today and I cannot shout so much, so please towards the end try to be quiet, okay? Okay, so today we are going to discuss about some self-presentation techniques. Self-presentation techniques का मतलब क्या है? So how do you present yourself? Whenever we present ourselves to people around us, we do some tactics. Okay, tactics might sound very negative कि हम लोग tactic use करते हैं अपने आप को present करने के लिए, but they are very common and everybody uses them and we all of us we use them. हम अपने आप को दूसरों के सामने कैसे present करते हैं, right? हम किसी random तरीके से नहीं present करते हैं, हम tactics use करते हैं so that we can portray and the best way possible, the best view of us. And there are different tactics. So number 1 is self promotion. Okay, so what is the self promotion technique? It says that suppose you have some good qualities in you. Now as human beings we have both good qualities and bad qualities, है कि नहीं? हमारे अच्छे भी attributes हैं, हमारे बुरे attributes भी हैं. But self promotion में what we do? We try to put forward our best qualities, our positive attributes so that we can make a good presentation, isn't it? Suppose you know that you are a very hardworking person, you are a very disciplined person, you know, and these are some of these attributes. So you tend to portray yourself when you're talking to someone, you're meeting someone for the first time. So you will always try to put forward these positive attributes. ठीक है? And not only first time, ऐसा नहीं है. And इसमें ये भी होता है कि sometimes we also manipulate a little bit. Suppose I know that I am not always a very honest person. Not always. कभी-कभी हाँ, कभी-कभी थोड़ा बहुत, you know, I lie. But still, when I'm talking to others, when I'm making a presentation of myself, I will say, oh, I'm such an honest person. Okay? So if you go to the definition states that when we try to present ourselves by promoting the positive attributes. When we try to present ourselves by promoting our positive attributes to others, it is called self-promotion technique. Yes.
People, exaggerating about.
Yes. People also exaggerate. He's absolutely right. People also will exaggerate to some point, to some extent, and that is also a technique because everything is a technique. Okay, whatever it is, we want to present the best side of ourselves. Okay, so this is number 1, that is self promotion. Now the second thing is very interesting. You see this self verification. Okay, so what is self verification? Now, all of us have some positive and some negative qualities, right? So, suppose I know that I am as a person, I am not a very good multitasker. मैं मुझसे मल्टीटास्किंग नहीं होती है, या फिर आई मे से दैट यू नो आई एम अ वेरी स्लो पर्सन, or suppose I may say that I am someone who doesn't like cooking at all. These are some of my real negative, although they are negative qualities. What I would do, I would try to meet people who believes in this negative qualities also. That means I would want to meet people who verify my own sense of self. So the definition of self verification technique is that we want others to agree to our views of ourselves. Are you getting the definition? We want others to agree to our own views of ourselves. So मतलब अगर मुझे लगता है कि मैं मल्टीटास्किंग नहीं कर सकती हूँ, मुझसे सारा काम नहीं होता है, आई कैन नॉट डू टू मच ऑफ कुकिंग, एंड इफ देयर इज समबडी हु कम्स एंड टेल्स no 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 you are absolutely amazing and you can do this also, you can do that also, even when it might sound like कि ये तो पॉजिटिव बात है ना, कि किसी कोई हमें आके बोल रहा है कि तुम हर कुछ कर सकते हो, तुम कुकिंग भी अच्छे से कर सकते हो, लेकिन नहीं, आई विल नॉट लाइक दैट. आई वुड वांट दैट पीपल नो द रियल मी, and I would also want to be with people who really accepts what I view of myself, even if it is negative in nature. Okay, and we correct also. No, ऐसा तुम्हें लग रहा है, ऐसा नहीं होता है, मुझे ना नहीं आता है means नहीं आता है. So this is something, you know, like मैं ऐसा ही हूँ, मैं ऐसी ही हूँ. This is something in that. So we would always want to be around people who would verify what we think of ourselves. Is it clear? Can you give me an example, anybody? Yes, who can think of an example? Self-verification technique का. It can be any example. No example coming to your mind? Huh? Is it clear? Do I need to explain again? Again? Okay. So self-verification means that even if we have either positive or negative attributes, we would want others to agree with our views of ourselves. पॉजिटिव हो या नेगेटिव हो, अगर हम सोचते हैं कि दिस इज मी, आई एम नॉट सो हार्ड वर्किंग, आई एम नॉट अ वेरी डिसिप्लिन पर्सन, एंड आई नो that this is true, this is negative, it might sound negative, but even then I would want people to believe this side of me. So for example, आप लोग सारे फैमिली के साथ आप 12 फेल मूवी देखने गए. How many of you have watched the movie 12 फेल? देखा? Let me say. So suppose आप लोग सारे अपने फैमिली के साथ you went to watch the 12 fail movie, right? 12 fail movie फैमिली के साथ नहीं देखेंगे, है ना? नहीं, सपोज उल्टा हुआ, ठीक है? आप अपने फैमिली के साथ गए and after watching that movie, your parents come and tell you that you also can become an IAS officer. I see those qualities in you. यही हमारे खानदान का नाम रोशन करेगा, ये अच्छे से पढ़ के IAS ऑफिसर बनेगा, UPSC क्रैक करेगा. And you know, technically it sounds very positive, है ना? It feels very good that your parents are encouraging you कि wow, that you can do good. But what is your view of yourself? You view yourself as somebody who likes to relax. इतनी पढ़ाई नहीं होती है मुझसे, and this is something that I have accepted. Suppose, okay, as a student you have accepted, मैं UPSC टाइप के मटेरियल की नहीं हूँ and मुझसे इतनी पढ़ाई नहीं होगी. So this is technically a negative view, but even then you would want others to agree with this viewpoint कि आप agree करो कि मुझसे नहीं होगा. You have to agree that this is me. I cannot study for 16 hours in a day and I cannot become an IAS officer. Please, why? Because this is your view of yourself and you want others to agree with it.
But that can be a false, view of ourselves.
Yes, it can be a false view of ourselves also. Matlab, this is how I think I am. Maybe I have that quality in me, but I might not be aware of it right now. But over the years, I have realized that no, I would be one. I have not explored that inner talent. हाँ, मतलब जो भी है, हम अगर हम कुछ अपने बारे में सोचते हैं कि हमारा ऐसा व्यू है, हम चाहेंगे कि सामने वाला भी यही समझे, वेरीफाई करे, एंड वी वुड ऑल्सो वांट टू बी विद सच पीपल. You know, so another example I'll give you. Suppose you know yourself that, again the same example, that you are not a very parahaku type of person, and there is someone who comes to you and says, she's the topper of the class, and she suddenly comes to you and she says that, I think you are very studious. मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि तुम बहुत पढ़ने वाली हो, मैं तुम्हारे साथ ही फ्रेंडशिप, चलो हम साथ में लाइब्रेरी चलते हैं. Sounds very positive. That somebody is, you know, being so positive about you, कितना अच्छे से आपको बोल रहा है कि you are so studious, I really want to be your friend. Even then you would bring out your real negative self and say, no, you're mistaken, I like to party, I don't like to study, मुझे please, sorry, I would be on my own. Are you getting the point? Positive हो या negative हो, we will always want others to verify what we view of ourselves, what we view ourselves as. Okay? Clear? So there was a researcher called Swan, and especially in the years 2005, researcher Swan, he did a lot of research in this area. He did a lot of research in self-verification, and he actually found that people actually, even if it is negative views about themselves, they would want that everybody to agree with their views. Yes, it can be positive also. Why am I emphasizing on a negative point? Because that is strange. Then why would I want others to agree with my negative views? It's positive, obviously हम तो चाहेंगे ना, अगर मैं अच्छी बच्ची हूँ and अगर मैं बहुत हार्ड वर्किंग हूँ, हम तो वो चाहेंगे कि लोग हमें पॉजिटिवली देखें. हाँ, या, yes. Self verification. No, what if I think that I dance very well and I sing very well and others are not thinking that, so we will try to find people who believe that yes, I can sing and I can dance well. We would always want to find people and be friends with them who agree with what I view of myself. Okay, now being friends with them, ये सब बहुत general statements हैं, इसको ऐसे मत लो. But generally हम यही चाहते हैं, we want to be around people, you know, who verifies. हमें बहुत ये verification अच्छा लगता है. It's a kind of validation for us. कि हाँ, मतलब I know myself well. Okay, so this is a kind of validation for us. कि हाँ, मुझे अपने आप, like I know myself. इसको भी लगता है कि मैं ऐसी हूँ और मुझे भी लगता है कि मतलब ये सही है. You're getting what I'm saying? ठीक है? So this is a technique. Now you might ask me कि किसी ने पूछा नहीं कि जैसे सेल्फ प्रमोशन में तो हम पॉजिटिव दिखाते हैं एंड इसमें हम नेगेटिव के लिए भी रेडी हो जाएंगे, दोनों कंट्राडिक्टरी लग रहा है थोड़ा सुनने में. एक्चुअली लग रहा होगा बट दे आर डिफरेंट. सो सेल्फ प्रमोशन में हम बस अपना पॉजिटिव व्यू सामने रखते हैं. ठीक है, सेल्फ प्रमोशन में हम अपना बस पॉजिटिव व्यू सामने रखते हैं. हमें पता है लेकिन हमारे नेगेटिव क्या क्या है, बट हम वो दिखाते नहीं हैं. हम बस पॉजिटिवली प्रमोट करते रहते हैं अपने आप को. एंड वेरिफिकेशन में पॉजिटिव हो या नेगेटिव हो, डजेंट मैटर. हम बस ये चाहते हैं कि सामने वाला हमें भी वही समझे जो हम अपने आप को समझते हैं. ठीक है, इज इट क्लियर? ओके, सो नाउ वी गो टू द नेक्स्ट टेक्निक, दैट इज ingratiation. Ingratiation. Again, what are these? These are all self-presentation techniques. ठीक है? Ingratiation का मतलब है, ingratiation means flattery. Very simple. Flattery, flatter करना ना किसी को, to make someone feel good about themselves, to praise someone. Okay, so that is called ingratiation. Now, why do you think we do this? We often praise people, na? And you will find some people who would just keep on praising and, you know, like put them on the seventh sky and you are this, you are that, you are amazing. Must, yes, buttering. Yes, क्यों करते हैं हम ऐसा? Why do we do it? And why we are studying this under self? Because we are praising others. How is this a topic under self?
We can expect a self-promotion as well.
Yes, yes. So doing this, we think that people will start viewing us as somebody who is so comfortable to be around. Yes? So somebody so nice. So this is also in a way self-promotion. Right? Like he said, that हम अपने आप को ही promote कर रहे हैं दूसरों को flatter करके. हम अपने आप को अच्छा present कर रहे हैं. We are presenting ourselves by flattering others. So for example, a lot of employees would flatter their immediate bosses, right? For a raise, for a promotion or whatever in corporate or in whatever sector. Sometimes we flatter our parents for a lot of things. Sometimes we flatter our friends. So flattery or ingratiation is something which we always do, and this is a very usual common tactic. ठीक है? What is happening? Why you all are talking so much? Okay? Third, ingratiation is simply flattery. When you flatter others, when you try to praise them, so in a way to put a better picture of yourself. So you're praising others that you are this, you are that, you are so good, I admire you, I inspire you, are my inspiration. So why do you do this? Why do we do this? We often do this कहीं ना कहीं किसी ना किसी को जो हमने हाँ impress करके हमारा क्या फ़ायदा होगा मतलब self में क्या फ़ायदा है इसमें? Right. Yes, because this is also a technique of self-presenting, right? This is also a technique of self-presenting that by flattering others, I am presenting myself to be this person who is so comfortable to be with. इतना अच्छा लगता है इसके साथ रह के, and I am getting that name, that everyone likes to be around me. So this is also a technique called ingratiation. ठीक है? अब fourth में आते हैं self-deprecating. Self-deprecating. Yes. इसमें क्या करते हैं? Can anyone guess? Self-deprecating? Huh? We put ourselves down. Yes, we put ourselves down in order to make the other person feel good, but technically we know that there is no fault in us. Okay? So simply, suppose very simple example, your mom is asking you to cook something, okay? And you say, no mom, you cook. मैं कहाँ आपके सामने, I impossible. What your rajma is the best. Yes, in a way. So technically, in your mind, of course, you cook well, but it's not hurting your ego and it's not hurting your self-esteem, right? So you are very confident that yes, I know, मुझे तो पता है, but it's a tactic of self-presentation. The better word is tactic. Instead of manipulation, we use the word tactic. Okay, self-presentation tactics. Okay. So कहाँ मैं and तारीफ सुनने के लिए भी also someone she said. So it's like fishing for compliments जिसको हम बोलते हैं ना compliments के लिए हम fish करें fishing for compliments. So when we put ourselves a little down and then we tell the other person that no I can't do this, you are very good at this. So this is also how we present ourselves. Okay. But as you can think that if we do this too much, it's not so good for in the longer run, because there is a danger that we might actually start believing in our words, in our own words of putting ourselves down all the time, that we are not good and all that. Right? Are all these 4 tactics clear? Any doubt? Okay? Okay. Yes. Tactic कहेंगे, not exactly manipulation. Everybody has signed their attendance sheets? Yes, ma'am. All of you? Yes. There is one more. I think this is from the previous class. Is this from the previous class? Okay, so we are going to discuss about okay, so the next topic that we are going to discuss is social identity theory. Okay. Okay. So we are going to discuss about social identity theory by Touchfell and Turner. Now there are two terms which is called personal identity and social identity. So we have our personal identity and social identity. Okay. So what Touchfell and Turner, yes? Social identity theory by Touchfell, T-A-J-F-E-L, Touchfell and Turner. It's the name of the researchers who gave us this theory. Okay. So there is a continuum. So there is a continuum. Continuum means something that is continuing. Okay, so it's not a fixed point, but it's a continuum where at one end there is personal identity and the other end there is social identity, and how we view ourselves, how we describe ourselves depends upon where we see at this continuum. Okay, so where we see at this continuum, that point will be called as the point of salience. Point of salience. Point of salience means at one point of time हम पर्सनल आइडेंटिटी पे फोकस करते हैं या फिर सोशल आइडेंटिटी पे फोकस करते हैं, वो डिपेंड करेगा आप किस ग्रुप के सामने हो या आप अपने ग्रुप के पीछे बैठे हो या दो, देयर आर टू डिफरेंट ग्रुप्स. Okay, so I'll make a diagram which will explain, yes, which will explain it clearer, but let us break point by point. So what do you think your personal identity is?
Who I am.
Yes, your personal identity is very individualistic in nature. Who you are as a person, as an individual, who you are, what your views are, what do you think? So that is your personal identity. Now what is social identity?
How people perceive us.
Yes.
How I want to show myself.
Yes, how people perceive us, how you want to show yourself. Everywhere in both of what you said, what is an important element? There are others there, right? So there is a social group there. There is a group against which you are making a comparison. So there is that is our social identity. Okay? So that is our social identity. So for example, somebody asks you the whether are you liberal or are you conservative? Both of you know what is, all of you know what is the meaning of liberal and conservative. Liberal mindset means somebody who is very open-minded about lot of things. Yes, and conservative mindset means थोड़ा orthodox जो mindset होता है. अगर किसी ने पूछा कि आप liberal हो या आप conservative हो, and फिर it depends who is asking the question, who you are sitting in, how you want to present yourself, right? So suppose there is an American sitting next to you, and you suddenly feel that this is an inter-group comparison. Me, I am representing all the Indians and he is an American. So I am representing my whole group of Indians. So this is an inter-group comparison, and based on that suddenly you might say, no, I am quite liberal. I am quite liberal, you know.
हम दूसरों के लिए liberal हैं, अपने
हाँ.
लोगों के लिए conservative.
Right. So हम ऐसे अपने आप को पोर्ट्रेट कर सकते हैं कि नो we are quite liberal. Indians are no longer, you know, the land of snake charmers and, you know, rope games and all. हम लोग बहुत आगे निकल चुके हैं and हम लोग बहुत liberal हैं. We can say that, right? And suppose there is a very old person, an orthodox person sitting next to me, and he is from the same village that, or city that I belong to, and he's from my same community, and suddenly I might think that I should highlight my personal identity more instead of my social identity. So suddenly I would be like, no, I believe there should be some sort of some level of orthodox in every individual. इतना भी लिबरल होना अच्छी बात नहीं है, हमने अपने चेंज कर दिया ना व्यूज या कुछ. Now you can ask what is the real me then? Point of salience, okay? Point of salience means salience itself, the English word means anything that is of importance. Salient means important, okay? So at whatever point we feel which identity is important for us to portray, we will take up that identity. And the question is, do you think both the identities are true or false or real or fake? All of them are you, okay? All of these identities are actually you. There is no truth, no false identity, there is no right, correct identity or no wrong identity, okay? So all of them combine to be you. So for example, right now you all are sitting in front of me as very nice, obedient, respectful students, right? Are you all real right now? Yes? You all are real. You all are real, no? So if you go out and you are with your friends and then suddenly you curse and you give a lot of galis and you are enjoying, that is also real you, isn't it? That is also real you. It's not that right now you are being fake and there you are being real, or right now you are being real and there you are being fake just to be with your friends. No, all of these personalities, all of these identities are you. It just depends that right now you think you are in a social, your social identity should be salient, and there your personal identity should be salient. It's just that difference, okay? So for example, there might be someone who thinks or who actually says other people that I am a very strong girl, I am a strong woman, okay? I can fight, I can really conquer the world, and I can fight with anyone, I don't cry. But at the same time, she might go inside the washroom and cry her heart out. And she might be very soft and she might be very sensitive. But again, वो बाहर आके बहुत strong, फिर से सबसे लड़ाई कर रही है. But क्या इसका meaning ये है कि like वो दोनों अलग personality है, या फिर something is wrong with her, या फिर she is being a hypocrite? No. Because वो उसको लगता है कि मैं किसके सामने हूँ, that comparison she is making. So if yes, open up नहीं हो रही है मतलब? Yes. Both of them are you. Both of them are you. There is nothing called real or fake. That is what I am saying. So suppose you all are, how you behave with your parents, do you behave the same way with your friends? So does it mean that you all are living a life of lie? पूरी जिंदगी क्या आप एक lie जी रहे हो क्या? Are you living a life of lie? No, we are not. But how we behave in terms of in front of, suppose how you all are behaving in front of me. Of course, you are not going to behave the same way in front of your friends. But that doesn't mean that this is a life of lie that you are living. This is not me. I am actually not this person. I think it depends on the social situation. Right now, you decide that my identity right now is that of a student. My identity as a student, and you are making suppose you are making a inter-group comparison, okay, how all students behave. So I will behave like all other students. That doesn't mean that you are being fake. It's just that you decided that right now my social identity should come in front rather than what my personal identity is. Personal identity might be that you just want to, put your legs up and relax, and that also you will do when you are home or when you are with your friends. Are you getting the point? Okay, so I am going to make a diagram now, which is very important, and it's going to clear a lot of things. Okay. So if you have your notebooks, please make this diagram. How we categorize ourselves. Okay. So how we categorize ourselves. PI means personal identity, SI means social identity. Okay. So हम अपने आप को categorize कैसे करते हैं? So suppose हम अपने आप को personal identity के through categorize करना चाहते हैं, तो what we do? Then we do intra-group comparison. So this is actually the nature of comparison that we make. Okay? So this is the nature of comparison that we make. हम किस तरह कौन से nature का comparison हम करते हैं? जब हम अपने personal identity पे focus कर रहे हैं, हम क्या करते हैं? Intra-group. Intra-group मतलब? Intra-group मतलब? Within the group, yes. Within ourselves, within the group. ठीक है? So we do an intra-group comparison, and when we do the intra-group comparison, what we come out as? We come out as individuals. We like to portray ourselves as individuals. Okay? When we do social identity, when we want to categorize ourselves in terms of our social identity, we do an intergroup comparison. So this is my group, this is another group, and we do an intergroup comparison, and that gives us what? We come out as members of society or members of a particular group. I'll give you an example. All of you are males, females or whatever, so we have our own gender roles, right? And we also know that various roles are assigned to us कि males को कैसे behave करना चाहिए, females को कैसे behave करना चाहिए, लड़कियाँ ऐसे होते हैं, लड़कियाँ ऐसे होते हैं. All of these are there, these popular notions are there, right? So suppose we are comparing ourselves with all the other women, all other women. So इसमें ये कौन सा comparison हो गया? Intra, within the same group, isn't it? Why intergroup would be when I am comparing myself with other males, when I am comparing all the women with all males, तब वो intergroup हो गया, दो groups. This is intra. So I am comparing, I am a woman and I am comparing myself with all the other women. So this is intra-group. So when I do such kind of comparisons, I focus on my personal identity and I come out as an individual. I might even say that, I am this, I am very different as a woman. I am not like the usual woman. I may say this. Yeah.
You've given one example that you're comparing yourself with other women.
Yeah.
Intra. But let's say if you are comparing yourself with other professors, that's also intra.
Yes, that's also intra.
Because we're focusing on specific.
Yes, specific thing. Absolutely correct. It can be anything. It can be any category that you might want to. It can be any characteristic that you might want to choose based on what you want to do the comparison. So I am taking the example of gender. It can be anything. It can be a profession. It can be language also, right? So when I do this intra-group comparison, I might come out to be someone who is an individual. I might say, no, as a woman, I am not like every other woman. I am very independent and I like to go out and work. I also manage my home and I also am a good mother and so on and on. ठीक है? क्योंकि ये हमने क्या किया intra-group. एंड सपोज इन्होंने प्रोफेसर का एग्जांपल दिया, अगर मैं अपने आप को प्रोफेसर्स के साथ इंट्रा ग्रुप कंपैरिजन कर रही हूँ, तब भी मैं एज एन इंडिविजुअल आई वुड कम आउट that I'm not like the usual professors, or I might say I am like the usual professors, जो भी है, but as an individual I will focus on my qualities. This is me as a professor, right? Now let us come to intergroup comparison. So suppose now suddenly there are a lot of women and we all become team, there are men and women in the class. Suddenly I say, okay, all the women, all the girls, we are in one group and all the men are in the other group. So then we would focus on all the qualities that make us a group, isn't it? Then we would focus on all those similar qualities. No, we women, suddenly it will become we women, isn't it? Suddenly it will become we women. हो सकता है कोई उसमें से बीच में उठ के बोले नहीं नहीं एक्सेप्शंस होते हैं, बट हम फिर बाकी सारे गर्ल्स मिलके उसको बिठा देंगे, नहीं नहीं एक्सेप्शंस का छोड़. बट यूजुअली हम वीमेन हम लोग सेंसिटिव हैं, हम ज़्यादा फील करते हैं, वी आर मोर इमोशनल, वी टेक केयर ऑफ पीपल, वी आर मोर केयरिंग. सो वी वुड सडनली व्हाट इट बिकम्स अ वी. Similarly, professors, the other example. Suppose now I am making an intergroup comparison of professors versus corporate employees of companies. Yeah, that's an intergroup. Not only within professors and employees of a corporate company, employees of a company. So then suddenly, instead of individual, my social identity would be highlighted. We professors it will become, and we will say, no, this is a better profession, we are contributing to the society, this is also a very nice, very qualified profession, we need to, and it's a valued thing, and फिर वो लोग भी बोलेंगे जो भी है, right? Are you getting? So it depends on the nature of comparison that you're making. Now again, क्या as a woman जो मैंने अपना characteristics बोला कि I am strong, I am independent, and then again with a group, the characteristics that I said, is any one of them right or wrong, or is any one of them true? Yes, both of them are right, both of them are true. Actually, let's not get into the debate of what is right or wrong. ठीक है? But both of them are what? Our true self. Both of them are parts of our self. Yes. It just depend करता है कि आप कैसा कंपैरिजन आप किसके साथ कर रहे हो, एंड उसके बेसिस पे आप कभी अपना पर्सनल आइडेंटिटी आपका हाईलाइट करते हो एंड कभी आप अपना सोशल आइडेंटिटी हाईलाइट करते हो. ठीक है? एनी डाउट सो फार? एनीबडी हैज एनी डाउट? So gender का ऐसे हो सकता है, right? Even there was a very famous study that was done by researchers. So there were Asian Americans. Asian Americans means there are many Chinese and lot of other Asian people who have been born in USA, or they go to the USA for studies and they stay there, right? So उनको Asian Americans, Chinese Americans को एक study किया था, उनके ऊपर एक group बनाया गया था. तो they were divided into two groups. So one group was said that who you are as a person. ये question पूछा गया लेकिन Chinese में पूछा गया. Who you are as a person. This question was asked to the Asian Americans in Chinese, and another group of the same Chinese Americans, they were asked who you are as a person लेकिन English में. समझ में आया? एक्सपेरिमेंट क्या था? समझ में आ गया? What was the experiment? तो रिजल्ट क्या आया? That the group who spoke in Chinese, that who am I as a person. So they highlighted a very collectivistic answer because Asian cultures are considered to be collectivistic in nature. तो जब वो चाइनीज़ लैंग्वेज में उन्होंने बोला तो दे सेड दैट हम लोग ऐसे होले, हम लोग बहुत फैमिली ओरिएंटेड होते हैं, हम लोग हर फेस्टिवल्स फैमिली के साथ मनाते हैं, सो हम सो इट वाज मोस्टली लाइक अ वेरी कलेक्टिविस्टिक आंसर टू हु आई एम. एंड व्हेन दोज सेम Chinese Americans were asked a question in English, and when they replied in English, they gave a very individualistic answer. I am independent, I am very career oriented, I want to do this in my life, I want to be a successful person. So you see how language also determines, what identity you are trying to put forward. Okay, whether it is personal identity or whether it is your social identity. Clear? Any doubt? So do you want to write the definition of this theory? You want to write the definition of this theory? Okay, just write it down. This theory addresses how we view ourselves, based on the momentary salience, salience means the point of salience जो मैंने continuum में बनाया था ना वो, ठीक है, based on the momentary salience. Okay. At the personal end of the continuum, we emphasize the uniqueness. We emphasize the uniqueness of who we are as a person, and at the social end we emphasize the similarities. Within the group. Similarities within the group. Read the definition and try and understand. एक बार पढ़ के देखो, आपको समझ में आ जाएगा. At the social end, we emphasize the similarities within the group.